Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Lotusthesage. I'm Lotus. Today we have another pick a pile for you. We have pile 1 here and pile 2. You can take a second to figure out which one you may want. Today's reading is a I don't know reading. It's I don't know about this, I don't know what's happening here, I don't know what's happening here. It is literally a whatever you came here for, hopefully we'll give you some answers to. When I was doing this reading earlier, it tends to be what's the most pressing on your mind is what's gonna come up. But please try to use this in any way that is applicable in your life. Obviously keep an open mind, it's a general reading, so if I do not tap into your energies today, try another reading of mine or pick another pile or come back another time and hopefully we'll be able to match energies then. If you find any of this reading helpful or useful, give it a like, subscribe if you feel so inclined. It'd be very helpful for me to get some traction on YouTube since I'm super new. All right, I'll see you at your timestamps. Welcome, my pal 1. Okay, let's get your cards out. We're going to look at these to close off each section because it's going to be divided into 3 sections. Okay, let's see what your first section says. Pile 1. Number 28, Chiron, heal. Chiron, known as the wounded healer, old hurts, traumas from past, triggers from past, hurts from your past. There's Chiron showing up as an offer of a chance to heal something that is plaguing your mind right now. There's a spiritual transformation, an inner journey that is being called to you. The truth and clarity that you're seeking for a particular situation is within this transformation of shedding an old part of yourself, understanding the shadow aspects of the thing that you are wanting to shed, transmuting the energies to develop and blossom into this beautiful flower that you are. From the book, the gift that Chiron offers you is allow the pain and troubles of the past to become the wisdom and compassion of the present moment. Let's see where this healing might involve or what's included in this healing. Number 36, Midhaven, Pinnacle. Midhaven talks about the highest peak of your astrological wheel. It talks about what you're aiming for technically in this life. It also talks about how you were programmed and raised on how to show up in the world. Old programming, things that may have not worked, restrictions and or privileges from your lineage or cultural background, what might be holding you back to allow yourself to reach this pinnacle, which is what Chiron is asking you to heal. Heal the parts of yourself, the trauma, the hurts that are not allowing you to reach the goal that you're seeking, or the attunement that you're wanting, or the enlightenment that you're praying for. The gift from the book that the Midhaven Pinnacle offers. Underneath all worldly sense of ambition is a soul's longing to live out its potential. Listen to the call. And that's what that Chiron is echoing to. This is the call for you to transform out of this perception, out of this ideology or belief system that you may not, either when it comes to like belief systems around money, success, love, whatever area of your life where you feel like this is hindering you now instead of protecting you. That's the next step. Your soul is calling you to transform so you can get to that pinnacle, so you can break the glass ceiling, so to speak, step in and build your own haven. How perfectly fitting with the South Node past. That's exactly what Chiron is echoing to, especially with this pinnacle in the Midhaven and your South Node. So like, it's literally like that, the 12 and 6 o'clock on the clock, right down the center, and that Chiron is in that middle. is what I'm feeling. It's like to heal this, for you to evolve to this pinnacle stage, you need to dissect this. You need to dive into this and really figure out what it is from your past that might be currently holding you back from truly achieving what you're wanting and seeking and your heart's desire. South Node also talks about what you bring from your past lives. So that could that could be like skills, weaknesses, unfinished business. The situation that you're talking about has roots in some sort of past karmic pattern or origins or history. You either need to apply the skill that has been learned, or you need to shed that skin. So again, understanding what that shadow side is of the things that you're wanting to shed, and is that necessary to let go of, or is it doesn't need to transmute? And there are certain things that need to just be let go of, don't get me wrong, but I feel that there are certain skills that you have already acquired in a past life or in your past period that is making you able, if you believe it or not, to be able to combat this obstacle that you are currently facing within yourself to heal. Learning new ways to respond, using the new skills gained when old traumas are triggering you. Break that spell, break the pattern, break that ancestral patterning. The gift here that South Node offers is use this opportunity to heal triggers and patterns from the past. Take them as teaching moments and learn. Then your hard-earned skills and wisdom can help you build your future. Which is what you want to do for that midhaven, right? That's what the goal is. So whatever it is that you came here with, the I don't know, whatever your I don't know question is, the importance of whatever it is you're asking has to do with your past and how you need to heal it. Either breaking chains or addressing it and responding in a different way to transmute the energy that it no longer is affecting you in a way that hinders you. Okay, let's see what the I Ching cards have to add. You have number 11, prospering, interpret cosmic events. That's what we're talking about right now. Number 33 again, retreat and avoid exhibiting anger. What I'm getting first off from these two cards with Chiron and the healing and the wounded healer, it's prospering from knowing that something needs to be addressed, understanding that things do need to change and transform and transmute. It's prospering in interpreting these events that are happening now for you to be able to step into this midhaven, for you to address the past hurts, to retreat, and to avoid exhibiting anger, because right now they're asking you to be peaceful with yourself and gentle with yourself as you're going through this transition, because it's not going to be an easy one, and or it's not easy currently that you're going through. So take that time for yourself to really look in the self, and for one, realize how far you've come. You know, because I don't think that you would be at this stage of actually being able to recognize and look and now wanting to fix a part of you that had been so either buried deep, maybe unaware of, or just recently got brought up to the surface for you to re-look at. So this retreat, this prospering from interpreting the cosmic events that are happening in your life. That leads you to number 32, continuing, stand firm. Yeah, stand firm in your belief that you can heal this and transition and break these patterns, and come out more fully yourself, still respecting some of the old traditions while evolving some of the old traditions, using some of your past skills in the future to help build, form, and gather all parts of your character into this full sovereign being. Continue to stand firm. Beautiful. Let's see about this midhaven. We have number 35, progress. Reveal your intelligent virtues. That's it, right? They're asking you to recognize and reveal all the work you have done on yourself, all the wisdom you have gained, all the self-acceptance and self-realizations that have been gained through this period, or will be gained through this healing process if you're not in it already. It feels like you're in it already. This is the reason why you're like, what? I don't know. What the fuck am I doing? What's going on? So there is progress. You know, you are making progress is my point. Continue to stand firm. Reveal your intelligent virtues. Maybe you need to revel in your virtues also. So, beauty. Number 4, inexperience. Cultivate your character. That's what you're doing. You're making progress to cultivate your character. This is what Chiron is doing. This is where this healing is coming from. This is where prospering from interpreting the cosmic energies of retreating to avoid exhibiting anger. You know, it's about just being gentle with this process of something that's very uncomfortable. But it is ultimately leading you to this midhaven, to your personal pinnacle, maybe pentacles too. Number 45, assembling, guard against paranoia. And this is probably where the inexperience is. Cultivate the character so that you don't need to feel any doubt towards your character, your choices, your being. And also try to avoid the self-sabotage. Avoid the... I feel like this, it still comes right back down to, again, how you were built to be viewed and visible in the world. And that's a part of how you were raised, how you were brought up. The archetypes of how you learned to be, how you learned to respect authority or not respect authority, what that did for you. What you learned about masculine and feminine energies, what you learned about how to argue, how to love, how to speak. All of this here can play into many little subconscious ways of giving you paranoia of like, well, you know, because it's so deep in the program that you think it's a thought of your own. When in reality, it's an observation that you made and a perception that you carried with you based on possibly a lack of fuller depth. Because as we're children, we just take, right? We take in that energy and absorb all we can. And then eventually our outside environment allows us somewhat to filter some of that, but not necessarily good or bad, right? It just depends. So allowing yourself to let go of the paranoia of thinking you can't get there, that you can't do this, that this is not, it's going to be hard for you, or this is difficult to get there, or this is not going to happen. It's those type of thoughts that they're asking you to just put aside. Easier said than done, but this is why they're asking you to stand firm. Okay, let's see what's happening over here under South Node. Number 51, shocking. Seek to improve yourself. That's what you're doing, my love. That's exactly what you're doing. You are progressing, right? Progressing to reveal your intelligent virtues. The inexperience of you has allowed you to notice that, meaning that I know I have things to fix. I know there's things that are not quite what I would like them to be, which is making you feel paranoid in a sense. But that's why they said, continue to stand your ground, retreat, avoid exhibiting anger to yourself, prospering, interpreting cosmic events. You are doing this, which is shocking, meaning to your system, not to you, or maybe it is to you, or maybe it's more to the surroundings or your environment or how people perceived you in your family or in whatever dynamic this applies to. But this is what you're doing. Progress, cultivating character, shocking improvements, big waves and ripples in your own personal journey as you seek to continue to evolve. I love that. Number 14, great possessions, repress evil influences. I've also what just came to me now is like there's a possibility that some of you are watching that could have combated something that was so apparently ingrained on the outside, and it very well could have been, don't get me wrong. I'm getting this feeling of like you beat an addiction, you lost a drastic amount of weight, or you got yourself healthy again from being malnutritioned or underweight. You left a very toxic situation that you've been in for a very long time. You've broken out of a tradition that was almost thought of to be impossible to do. It's something, that kind of energy is what I'm getting, and why this shocking and this great possession is because this development in yourself to improve yourself has allowed you to let go of these, as they put it, evil tendencies, which is this retreat, avoiding exhibiting anger, avoiding against paranoia, progress through all of the difficulties, that wounded healer that is still fighting out of a generous and gentle heart. And I don't even feel like it's the word repressed. It feels like I have let go of these evil influences or bad influences or negative influences in my life, and I want to keep it that way. I don't want this past part of me to come back up. I don't want this to eventually make me so paranoid that I don't get to my midhaven, that I don't reach my own personal pinnacle, that I don't get to the top of my own mountain. Ooh, that's heavy. They just made me feel that. Okay, traveling, number 56. Traveling, impose penalties carefully. Interesting. And this traveling is like, I am moving away from all of this. I am transforming, I am transitioning, and I am imposing my belief systems, my way of living carefully, because obviously there is respect for the past. There is lessons that you would not have learned without the way that you went through them because of your past, but this imposing the penalties carefully, it's almost like a slow, dissolve. That's what I'm getting. It's like I'm going to back away slowly and fizzle into the mist as you guys start to figure out what just happened. Like, it's that kind of feeling, like, it's almost, it's almost like a disappearing act. It's like, I am out of this. I am no longer returning to this part. Thank you. I bid you farewell. That prayer is coming into mind. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. And I love you. That is what's coming to mind right here. It's like honoring and forgiving the parts of our past that have held us or kept us stuck or made us feel less than. Thanking them for the lessons that they taught us, bidding them farewell, and sending it love, which sends that right back to you, which is this beautiful healing and this calmness in the self. Oh, that's lovely, my goodness. Woo! That's beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna get the Kipper deck. I'm placed on one for each, just to close off this portion of the reading, and then we'll get into the angel cards to fully solidify what you need to keep in mind. So, for Chiron, heal, prosperity, retreat, and continuing. One card, please. This is why I shuffle off camera. Sometimes they take forever. I'll talk about them in a second. Wow. So for Chiron, heal, prospering, retreat, and continuing, you have house, which is bringing me back to this midhaven about your upbringing, about what you're healing, about interpreting these cosmic events, avoiding exhibiting anger in this particular home dynamic. This could be home in self, your actual literal family home. It could do with any type of stability or structure that resembles or symbolizes that strength and comfort and home. And it's asking you to continue to stand firm in what you're going through, in this transition, in this healing, in this transformation. Underneath midhaven, pinnacle, the progress, inexperience, and assembling. You're assembling your progress right now to get to this midhaven, which is the literal gift of all of this, is to reach this pinnacle. But it's more specifically about you seeing this in yourself, of you wanting to do something about it, of you realizing that you can and have always had the power to switch this up. And now you have the strength and the courage to really step into that gift, to step into your pinnacle, to assemble your full character. Lovely. And then under South Node for shocking, great possessions, and traveling, you have the pathway, which is about that traveling. It's about making that choice to move and venture off, to go into the direction that I am seeking, for me to let go of these past traumas and ideologies and self-limiting beliefs that have kept me in the dark with myself for too long. I'm ready. Traveling, let's go. Ready to forge that new path, ready to make new steps, meet new people, feed and feel new energy. Beautiful, my pal one. Let's see what your angel cards have to say. Chiron section, you have willingness. Yes, the willingness to continue to stand firm, to prosper, to avoid exhibiting anger. Underneath the pinnacle of your midhaven, you have wisdom, which is what you've gained, which is what this gift is, which is what your understanding is about how you can actually get and attain what it is that you're actually seeking. Oh, look at that. Underneath South Node, you have awakening. Like we talked about, that pathway, that traveling, that journey, that shocking. This is the transition that you are currently on and in right now. This is the what am I doing? This is what you're doing, my loves. The willingness to heal, the wisdom now that you've gained to understand that you can reach this pinnacle, this midhaven. The releasing of your South Node of traumas, patterns, using past skills to lead you into this new pathway to travel towards your personal awakening, to complete and satisfy your soul's calling. My beautiful darlings, I almost forgot about your I forgot about your last 3 cards. How could I forget? Okay, so I'm just clearing your deck, clearing the board. I was about to clear the energy, but just a reminder of what was there, yes? So this is for this is for timing, and this is some guidance. Crystal guidance, some words of advice, and some timing, whatever. So your first one out is, when the world feels like it is coming crashing down around you, take that as an opportunity to find yourself and let go of who you thought you were. Not all storms come to destroy your life. Some come to clear your path. Decide that this crisis will be the turning point that you have been waiting for, and that's exactly correct. Chiron is that healer, that turning point that you've been waiting for to get to this midhaven. Timing is next full moon. Beautiful. It's not too far away. And this is your crystal. Okay, I'm going to read it to you. It says, Bixbite, timing, action, and change. Timing is everything with Bixbite. That could be truer. It has an impeccable knack for right timing and can encourage you to try new things, pursue an opportunity, or change anything that needs an update. It opens the connection between your base chakras and your heart chakra and infuses you with unconditional love for yourself and others. Bixbite encourages energy expressed as action, movement, and progression to move toward true alignment between you and your soul. How fitting. Update what's outdated with joy and recharge your life. Aries, Taurus, and Moon. The next full moon, maybe there's like a climax to some of this healing that's happening. This is the opportunity, time to take action. It's coming, like this next full moon or whatever is building up right now in the I don't know of your life, it's coming. This is, like we said, this crisis, this healing, this necessary part of the journey. This next full moon, there might be, like I said, it feels like an accumulation or the end point before the very finish line. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like a checkpoint just before you get to the I'm done with this. The right action, right? It's about timing. It's coming. Or it could literally be the next full moon coming up. Look out for those dates. Let me know, my loves. Oh, that's lovely. I'm sending you so much love, my beautiful pile one. This was helpful again. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment. I would love to know what's going on in some way, shape, or form if you feel safe to and comfortable enough to share. Until next time, keep watering your lives. This is Lotus. Ciao. Welcome, my pal 2. All right, we're going to get into your read. So these cards we're going to look at the very end. To close off, there's like a timing and guidance and a crystal guidance. These angel ones we'll look at close to the second last to see what these add to the messages. And then we have them in 3 sections. So, all right, let's see what's your, I don't know what's happening in my life. We have number 35, Ascendant, Entrance. The Ascendant talks about how you enter the world, how you are perceived, and what you show. That's usually it's considered your rising sign. So that could have a big significance on some of what you're asking about, and maybe that's about how you're being perceived. It talks about how you look at situations, how you handle situations, how you feel about certain things, how you see the world. It asks you to look at how your privileges or traumas or certain attributes of your history can distort the reality of this moment. Some of the challenges that Ascendant can bring up is be willing to look beyond appearances and look to the heart of a situation, but also not to count on others to reciprocate that in some way. That's the difficult part of the Ascendant. The gift, however, that the Ascendant brings is over time your reputation is built on what you do, not how you look. So there could be something about keeping up with appearances that might be hindering you from feeling clarity or feeling at ease with whatever situation that you're thinking about. And also it's making me feel about altering perceptions. There's a strong feeling that the Ascendant of how you are perceived is somewhat disconnected from how you feel that you should be perceived. That's what I'm getting in a sense. I'm curious, what's happening here? What's this about? Ooh, I haven't pulled this card yet. Imam Koli. It means root. Beautiful. Number 38. Especially considering the Ascendant talks about how you enter the world, right, and how you're perceived. And that's a part of your roots of how you were raised, how you were brought up. And also talking about galactically, celestially, you know, there's an importance based on the reason why you chose to be whatever Ascendant sign you are, meaning whatever time you were born, when you chose to enter this world. You know, the parents you picked, I am from that belief system, the parents that you picked, the experiences that you've had, perceived good or bad, these are all part of your blueprint, your soul's blueprint is what I'm getting. The root card talks about, it points to memories and experiences that feed your first roots, your early home life, your family's traditions, and your biological and emotional heritage, which is what we were talking about here, about how you were raised and how you're presented, or how you're presenting, and how you're being received. It's asking you also to lean into the habits that help you feel secure and grounded. Some of the challenges that the root can bring up are the unconscious patterns from your personal history may underlie the situation and need excavation. Again, this is what we were talking about. Maybe there's a part of you that's like, I'm not fully in line with how I'm being perceived as to how I feel I am or who I am. There's some sort of disconnect that way, and maybe that is specifically from your root chakra. That's a good possibility. However, some of the gifts that come up is build roots of your own. Feel your spine extend like a deep taproot of a tree into the ground. Feel the strength of the earth pulsing through you, holding you strong through any storm. So there's 2 things, just like an ask to be fully authentic in who you are. 1, 2, to let go of the old systems, beliefs, historical patterns, ancestral upbringing that is keeping you stuck in a sense, or stagnant or hesitant to evolve past this stage of the Ascendant. And then talk about perception, right? Moon. Number 19, perception. And that's what we were talking about. How I'm perceived based on how I'm feeling. There's something about that is emotionally not feeling in alignment. That's the word. It's something that feels not quite right. And I can relate to this because, sorry to give you my own whatever, but they're giving me the story of a good chunk of my friends at some point in my past and or relationships. Like there was one of my first true loves. I was very, very innocent in the sense of emotional and loving experiences of that way in a romantic sense. So very first love, very first true love, I should say, not first love, very first true love. And I'm an advocate of cannabis, and so was my partner at the time. So was my partner, period. And he was actually more into it, meaning like he was still selling it, is my point. I got my stuff from him. And his parents thought I was bringing it to him. For one, partially because I was black, not a joke. It's not a joke. Second, because I was so quiet and reserved, and I was very uncomfortable in people's family dynamics in general because of the way I was raised. I was very, very much raised in a different way, period. And what meaning that what I absorbed was not necessarily the same lessons my brother absorbed. In the same way also, because I had a very heavy European influence growing up, very heavy, and all of my extracurriculars too, very, very heavy. And I mean all types of European. And so, but being of a West Indian descent, we're in my family anyways, we are told like you don't go into somebody else's home and open their drawers or fridges even if they say it's okay. You just don't do it. You don't you don't just sit anywhere. You don't know where the family sits. Like there's respect when it came to that. That's not very common for a lot of families that I was privy to when it came to either white culture or some European cultures. Some, not all. So that my point being is that I was always perceived in a different way than I actually was, and it was usually false. And I was like, am I projecting this false need? Because I could feel it. And I told my boyfriend at the time, and he was like, no, you're crazy. I'm like, I'm telling you, your parents think that I'm selling you fucking drugs. And then not a joke, like I think he had his parents had a conversation with him like a week later being like, is she the one influencing you to do this? Like, what the F? So this is my point. There's something about the perception of how you see yourself based on how other people see you that is asking to merge and synthesize with itself, with yourself, to figure out what that imbalance might be when it comes to your projection of your personality or yourself or your ideas or whatever area this is for you. Okay, let's see what the I Ching has to add to the Ascendant entrance. Oh, excuse me. Some of the challenges that the moon can present are look to feelings rather than logic to move the situation forward. Notice any strange responses to anxiety, touchy personal defenses, nepotism, xenophobia, subjectivity, or insecurities. Either in your motivations or in those around you, tend to the fear that lies underneath these behaviors. The gift, however, is you are one with the ebb and the flow. Watch what sign the moon occupies each day and let the moon teach you about its phases. Align yourself with those tides and make your life easier. Pretty fitting. All right, let's see what the I Ching has to add to the Ascendant. Number 13, Fellowship. Recognize your fellow man. And this is what we're echoing too, recognizing what recognizing what their perceptions are of you, and recognizing the parts of you that you feel might need to change that would be a little bit more cohesive in the environments that you find yourself in on a daily basis. Observe, number 20, inspire confidence. That's right, you're observing how your effects are or what your effects are on people and vice versa. You are allowing this information and this uncomfortability of not being seen as truthfully as you feel to motivate you to inspire the confidence to truly be yourself. Spirit is Spirit is pushing you to do that. And then we have number 5, calculated waiting. Relax in comfort. That's it. Calculated waiting, which is meaning the observing, right? That's exactly what that is. Calculated waiting is observing, in my opinion. Relax in comfort of knowing that, or trusting that you have been changing, you have been working on this, you have been trying to be more either expressive, communicative, clear, honest, open, and that's partially because of I was feeling there's a disconnect between how I'm perceived and who I actually am. So right now you are assessing, let's say, information gained by these people or things or situations where you were not received in the way that you authentically truly are. Let's see what it says about the root. Number 8, unity. Cultivate personal relationships. Well, it's pretty straightforward. That's exactly what we're talking about. Cultivating the unity within yourself, within the past experiences, within your past history, within the people you've encountered or situations you've encountered, like again, that didn't quite hit that unity point with you. That didn't quite mesh with the true essence of who you are. Number 9, timing force. Conceal virtuous conduct. I'm feeling like part of your way of being, or how you were operating at some point in your life, had to do with repressing a part of your true self in a sense of communication and ideas. It's almost like they're giving me like being privy, like a teacher student. That's what I'm getting at. Teacher student. It's like when that student is like so frustrated with a particular thing that they can't get, or they're struggling with, or it's taking them so long to just understand or grasp, and the teacher can see its process. Like see that this is a necessary process for them to critically think and find the solution on their own. You are there to guide and help and support, but you are not there to give them the answer per se, right? You can give answers, this is not my point, but this type of lesson is what I'm referring to. There's a timing involved that is necessary, and you can't conceal the you've had to conceal some of your virtuous ideas, meaning like that the wisdom behind your teachings, or behind the knowledge, the wisdom behind your words is just, and it's sound. So I can see how sometimes it may come across to some people like arrogant or know-it-all or ego, and it's not who you are. And this is what I'm getting at. It's like, and I think that's what either that you have to work on, or you have been doing for so long that it's been repressed in a sense, where you haven't found the right people to fully be your full, true, authentic, expressive self. But it's also a reminder to, if I'm going to cultivate new personal relationships, I might need to curb some of my know-allness, like, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be perceived in a way of, sometimes it is about timing. Sometimes it's not helpful to give somebody information that they're not really going to hear or really receive, or they're just in a place where they don't view you, let's say, in a place of authority or status, let's say, that would put more weight in their eyes on your words. Like a 12-year-old telling you life advice. Not to say that 12-year-old can't give you some really beautifully metaphorical examples of trying to just be happy, but that mentality of like, you haven't really lived an experience for you to know, so you automatically negate what they're saying. It's that kind of feeling is what I'm getting. Interesting. Where does that lead? Number 3, difficult beginnings. Focus on your principles. That's exactly right. That difficult beginning, the roots, right? You might have had a difficult upbringing, which is what we were talking about in the beginning of that conceal virtuous conduct, right? Timing force. You had to repress it for a while because there was nobody to really hear you, nobody really take you seriously, nobody to see you for who you are, all facets of yourself, not just parts. Amazing. Let's see what the moons I Chings have to add. 21, reform, administer justice clearly. Yeah. I love that. And that's the perception, right? I'm administering the justice on what has been falsely identified as a flaw. I'm reforming my character so I'm no longer perceived in this way without compromising my integrity. I'm creating justice for myself currently. This is what this upheaval feels. This is what this upheaval feels like to me. Of the what am I doing, what's going on, whatever question you came to ask. Number 19, promotion. Support others without limit. There might be a need for you too to actually be a little bit more vocal when it comes to your admiration and expressing your gratitude for some of the people that you do feel connected to, or that have been able to see you, at least majority of you, graciously. I feel like you need to give a little bit more support to those people in the sense of, like I said, admiration, just telling them, oh my God, you're so amazing, or oh my God, this is so well done, or I'm so proud of you, or holy shit, you fucking did it. Like, it's that kind of stuff. I feel like you need to voice more to these people that you genuinely care about. And that's also a part of that reforming the self to be a little bit more communicative when it comes to your expressions, period. Whether that be your actual ideas, beliefs, how you actually speak. Maybe it's about a speech pattern, maybe it's about a tone. Change the perception of how others view you. That's what I just heard. You are changing the perception, of how others view you, is what they said. Love that. Which will bring in, it is 31, attraction. Be open and accept others. It'll bring in this openness, right? And this promoting is what it is. It's about voicing your admiration and appreciation for other people, other things you enjoy, things you just respect and like. It doesn't even have to be closely affiliated to you. Let's give the example of Instagram, for example. Like, you're like looking at this person be doing all these DIYs at home, and you're like, oh my God, this is so amazing, this is so brilliant, and they're just asking you to just share and send out that love and that reciprocity of, again, being validated and seen by somebody, period, which is what ultimately we all want. There may have been a little bit of this, the word they're giving me is hoity-toity. You might have had a little bit in your character because of the fact that you had to protect yourself from people who weren't seeing you right, or you weren't being taken seriously in a sense. So it built up this sort of armor that may have created a too rigid of a character in certain scenarios or certain atmospheres or within certain dynamics, which is what this reform is about, which is what this supporting others without limit, which is what attracts people more to you. It's when you start to share and give off of that. Everybody loves a freaking compliment, don't get me wrong. Truly, most people do. And I've had my own issues with compliments, specifically because of my upbringing, and that's a long story that you don't need to hear about today, but I understand how difficult that is to really, truly believe somebody saying that instead of just nice words, because I've heard a lot of nice words in my life, and I've heard a lot of compliments that I couldn't even receive because I was so tainted. So I just want you to keep that in mind, as to be as open as you can and as authentic as you can without compromising your integrity right now. But they're asking you to address some of these root issues, to change the perception, and to step into your full authentic self. Okay, I'm going to get the Kipper deck, just to close off these Ascendant, Root, and Perception with all of the I Ching cards. I prefer to shuffle off camera because my cards always fly, always. And sometimes they take a really long time unless I'm quiet, so I will get to the cards in a second. First card we have is number 29, imprisonment. Well, that's a very clear possibility of you feeling imprisoned by other people's perceptions of you, of waiting for the right moment, or waiting for somebody or a timing of somebody to truly see you, because it feels like you've been recognizing other people and you haven't been privy to that same respect in kind. I feel like there's a doubt that you'll be able to really allow yourself this freedom of being seen, or of being understood or appreciated. And again, I think it has to stem back to your roots in particular. This main female could be you, of course, my viewer, but I'm actually getting it as a family member. And I heard right away when I pulled out the card was mother. So the mother figure in your home, your household, however you were raised, whoever that person was for you, biological or not, this is where some of this is stemming from. It could be a disconnect from your female energies. When it comes to, it might be very difficult for you to make female friends or get into relationships with females. It could be because of that. You could be subconsciously repelling that energy because of the way that your upbringing was, with this difficult beginnings, focus on your principles, and this timing force, conceal virtuous conduct, because of this. It's like, again, it's this repression of the female archetype in your home. It prevented you from finding that unity in a sense and cultivating personal relationships, either specifically with females or in general, period. And this perception, and did I show you main female? Sorry, I wasn't sure I showed you. This is the main female. And you see that hesitancy in her face, that like, it's like it feels like she's on pins and needles. It's like keeping up appearances. Feels like, am I doing this right? Is this good? Are you satisfied? I don't want to make you angry. Am I doing this right? Proper. That's what I'm getting at. Do not come out of line. Everything needs to be very slick and polished and precise. Very pristine. Maybe that's why that hoity-toity came out. There's something about that repressed some of your spiritual growth. Meaning, not that you're stunted in a sense, but it just got repressed, quite literally. And I feel like this explosion of the perception, which is creating concern, and I just heard father, which is interesting, creating concern with the, let's say maybe it's the masculine archetype in your life too, either creating concern because of that dynamic in the household, or there was a discrepancy between how how this female figure in your life tried to discipline or teach in comparison to how the masculine energies in your life tried to discipline and teach. There was an easier way to connect and understand with the masculine energies in your life, which helped you sort of were able to navigate through all this uncomfortability in the home. And I don't actually think that this masculine energy knows the dynamics or the full weight of what you felt when it comes to this female energy in your life. I kind of think that they were slightly oblivious, excuse me, sorry, my camera cut out. They were slightly oblivious to what was happening here. I think they were the one that gave you that support, that's allowing this reform, this ease in the sense to get through this imprisonment that you felt within this dynamic, within the home. Which is, again, coming back to why I feel that there's a possibility, why there's a really big, heavy emphasis on female energies or specific types of female energies that don't sit well with you naturally. Which is what this reform is, which is why you probably gravitate to masculine energies much easier, probably have more guy friends than girlfriends. It's that kind of energy. Still that masculine energy that you prefer to be around. I think you just trust them more. And I think this is what part of this reform is, about the perception of the self, not being received that way, of echoing to a part of a personality type or character flaw that you saw in this female archetype that you might be residually carrying on you as an armor that you did not fully grasp until this awakening, in a sense, until this realization. Beautiful. Okay, let's see what your angels have to close off the reading for Ascendant. Gratitude. Yeah, this is gratitude for, like I talked about, the recognition of the calculated waiting, of observing what you have felt imprisoned by, how you stepped into this world, what programming you had. You're grateful for being, the comfortability, so to speak, of your life. But there is an emotional upheaval that needed to be addressed, which you are doing right now. So this is what they're asking you to do, is to find the gratitude within this lesson. For Root, you have purpose. That's right. That is the purpose, is you're finding what the cause is, the purpose of this need to change, the purpose of, or the reasoning behind this archetype was so difficult for you to find some sort of compatibility with. And also finding your own true purpose of allowing those parts of you to let go and release that, for you to step out into this reformed, evolved version of yourself. And then under the moon, tenderness. I always hear that song, try a little tenderness. Always, every time I get this card. So yes, it's that tenderness of the perception, right? The tenderness for yourself, in the gentleness of your transformation, in the supportiveness of other people, of the attraction that will bring in if you show a little bit more tenderness, some more softness, which is, again, that feminine energy. Even if you are a female, it doesn't matter. I've been in that archetype for a while. When I was in my 20s, for sure, I was definitely like full alpha. If there was another thing above alpha, which I think there is, I think that's where I am at. Like, it was like, so let's go. What I want, I'm gonna get it. That was my energy, you know? So I understand when it comes to needing that, in a sense, to be able to progress in certain areas of your life because you think that's what will get you there. But there is going to come a point, if you have not already reached that, where you need, when I don't say that often, when you need to find that balance of the masculine and feminine energy within the self for you to be able to get to the next step of yourself. Which means, again, you will come back out of balance, in a sense, meaning like you have to figure out how to negotiate the new aspects of yourself while releasing some and keeping still stuff from the old, you know? So it's always going to be a balancing act, and it's only very few moments, if we don't practice on a continuous basis of checking in with ourselves, that we can stay in that flow. But it doesn't mean that you can't ever get back on the flow, and it doesn't mean that you can't ever fall out of it. So the point is about finding that tenderness and that ebb and flow, like they talked about with the moon, of trying to transform, trying to reform, and attract what it is that you desire. I love that. I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you some answers into what you were asking about. Please, if this was helpful in any way, please give it a like, leave a comment, let me know if this resonated. Even if it's just an emoji, I'm down for it. Would be really helpful just to get me into this algorithm of this YouTube business. Okay, yes, again, sending you all of my love. I almost forgot again! I didn't forget in the first group. Your last 3 cards, oh my goodness. So this here is the guidance first. This here is the guidance first. This is the timing card, and this is your crystal. Dang, dang, dang. When you hold on to the past, it stops you from living in the present. Release any old hurts or worries or regrets. Commit to being in the here and now. Forgive yourself for where you think you may have been wrong. You deserve inner peace. Let it go. Yeah, and that's that gratitude of letting it go, letting go of these past hurts, of the way that things happen or how they unfolded for you. Commit to being here and now. Let it go. Love that. Your timing is winter. Winter solstice is coming up real soon. So that could just be winter solstice, or it could literally be the winter, which is still either 6 months away for some or happening in a couple weeks. It could be something that has felt cold, or in the winter seasons this was more affected. Either way, you take this, but I'm getting it as a timings thing, so it feels like winter coming, the following winter coming. At some point during the winter, this purpose of all of this will be more revealed. And your crystal. Blue spinel, persistence, fresh perspective, and revival. Boom. Perspective. Twice for you. I'm gonna read it. Revive to keep alive. Blue spinel brings new energy to stagnant parts of your life, from inside your body to the world outside. The name of the stone comes from the Latin word for spine, and blue spinel will give you a strong backbone. They're talking about that root, right? They talked about bringing that as your spine. Will give you a strong backbone, sense of self, and reason to stand tall despite any challenges you may face. This is a great crystal for workaholics, as it eases stress and anxieties and instills a renewed sense of resolution. You can make it to the end if you put your mind to it. Blue spinel provides that fresh perspective to reset and rejuice. Gemini in Pluto. And this is what your energy is asking you to do again, that fresh perspective on self, the revival of this tenderness within you, the understanding of why things had to happen and having gratitude for that. Release it, let go of any worries, doubts, and regrets. Spirit has your back. Keep watering your lives, my beautiful budding beauties. Until next time, this is Lotus. Ciao.